Before I begin, I will need to give you guys a nice and long introductory background so that the incident which happened is understood well. Basically, this story is about how my mom wanted to force a reconciliation between me and my sister, whereas my sister was on a mission to get me back with my ex-boyfriend. But guys, after all that has happened with me, I don't know if I want her or my mom in my life anymore, and so I am writing this because I am still in a dilemma after I took a stand. We all date random people during our school and teenage years. It's all forgiven as we grow up. Some even make it to lifelong commitments, but some are just puppy love cases and wither out as time passes and we meet new people or are in new situations. So just like that, I started dating my brother's best friend when I was 15. We were together for about 4 years. He then proposed to me and I rejected it. He is 5 years older than me. The reason for the breakup was that I didn't want to get married or engaged when he proposed to me. There was a lot of drama after the breakup. My family was after me to reconcile. They said it was not necessary to get married immediately after. We could even have a long engagement. They asked me to promise them that we would get back together if I wasn't comfortable with getting engaged at that time. My relationship with my brother suffered for a while, but the one with my sister never recovered. She was crazy because she was so sure that my ex was the best fit for me, and things got unbearable when she started dating my ex-boyfriend's brother. My ex was invited everywhere by my siblings, even to a couple of family vacations, but I let it go because he was not just my ex but their friend too. Until my sister started forcing us to get back together. We'll call my sister Kenny, ex-boyfriend Justin, my brother is Oris. So Kenny did everything under the sun, from trying to set us up on blind dates and even went to the lengths of making us share the same room during vacations. She would make everyone leave so it was just me and my ex-boyfriend in one place, and then it would be awkward if we didn't talk, so we did. No matter what the occasion was, my ex was deliberately invited to it now, even if we would otherwise skip him had we been together. After some time had passed, it was starting to get unnecessary for me to entertain this, so I asked my parents to intervene. Thankfully, they were very firm with my siblings and asked them to stop inviting me to family gatherings and allowing him to tag along so much unnecessarily. It was all great now until my sister started showing me that she wouldn't back off yet. My brother cooperated with me, but my sister, she would kill to make me date him again. Few months passed. I met my fiancé, Richard, during a semester abroad. He was from another college but in the same country, and we just clicked instantly. It was all so magical for me, and we decided to get engaged after dating for a year. Back home, everyone was super happy for us, except of course my sister. She kept brainwashing me that I was in the honeymoon phase with Richard and would grow out of it. Mean. I clearly didn't, and after many fights and attempts to change my mind about my ex, I assertively told her that if she wouldn't stop with these things, I would cut off ties with her. You guys would assume she would have stopped after that. Do you know what she did after my warning? She made me her maid of honor. This meant I had to interact and spend time with all her other friends too, which included my ex. She even set up one of her friends with my fiancé on a date. We didn't realize until we were at the reception and her friend tried to take my fiancé to the bedroom and he refused her. Poor girl was so embarrassed and left the wedding after that. My husband had been repeatedly telling her that he was with me, but she got confident when my sister convinced her that since we are not married yet, it was completely fine to explore things with other people. I left the party too along with my fiancé. The next day, I let my parents and brother know that if they ever try to make me reconcile with my sister again, I would break down all relations with them too. I didn't want to make them choose between us, but I had had enough of her and had decided to never talk to her again. She had crossed a limit and it was unforgivable for me. It's been almost 6 years now since I have been in touch with my sister. My mom was devastated and tried to negotiate, but my dad and brother respected my decision. My sister tried her best to be there in my life again, but I didn't talk to her at all. She had enough chances and she knew what she was doing very well. She sent gifts and threw tantrums my way, but I didn't care for her anymore. Yes, we do come across each other during family events or dinners, but I simply ignore her and act like she doesn't exist. At first, she would hurl rude comments my way and even put up a show about how I was being too cold with her, but when she saw that no one was backing her up, she stopped that too. She had a huge meltdown when she learned that she was not going to be a part of a single wedding preparation of mine. She was invited to my wedding because my mom was in a pool of tears when I suggested I wasn't sure about inviting her, and she said if my sister didn't come, she would not come too. I wanted my mom to come, so I let her be there too. My brother is guilty of going along with my sister's patch-up tactics for so long because it resulted in sour relations between him and my ex. They still talk, but they're not close anymore. Just friends. My fiancé and I are expecting our first baby together. It was my mom's birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I finally announced my pregnancy. This is not the first grandchild in the family, but the first granddaughter. Yes, we're having a girl. Everybody was over the moon. Except my sister. My mom noticed this and tried to get her daughters back together again. She invited me for tea the next day. I should have declined, but I wanted to be positive for my baby's sake, and I went without thinking too much about it. The first thing I noticed as I pulled up was my sister's car. Fine. Okay, no problem. I went inside, and there were people I was not too happy to see there. There was my sister, of course, but there was also her husband and my ex. Dead. I knew I was dead. I wanted to leave immediately, but instead I greeted everyone and sat down. It appears that they wanted to have an intervention since my childish behavior had gone for too long now. Wow! My ex spoke up and said I couldn't appreciate how romantic he was being to get my yes. His mom chimed in to say that I was just hurting my little sister who wants only the best for me, and she apologized already, so I had to forgive her. I was furiously texting my fiancé, dad and brother at this point while they kept talking bullshit. I couldn't believe my mom. My brother-in-law had the balls to tell me in front of everyone that I was a bad person because I hurt his wife so much and I needed to learn how to act like an adult because I was having a baby now. Screw you, brother-in-law. You deserve my sister. There was more drama in store for me that day. My mom had written a crazy-ass letter which she started reading out to everyone about how heartbroken she was that her daughters weren't close anymore and how my sister was wrong, but her intentions for me were always right. I said nothing to anyone. I just sat there like a gray rock until my brother arrived. He was so angry when he arrived. It was beyond anything I had ever seen before. He straight away grabbed all my stuff and yelled at everyone about how disappointed he was in them and how disgusting they could be. We walked away from there and sat in his car until my dad and fiancé arrived there too. I was sobbing and he was continuously apologizing to me. I don't know what happened after that, but I sent an email with my lawyer's number and information attached to it to all of them except my mom that I would report them to the police if they ever tried to contact me again. They didn't contact me again, but my dad recently told me that they were hysterical after I left that day from the tea party and they still hope to repair things with me. My sister wishes to be in my life again so that she can be in my baby's life and possibly be her godmother too. My dad is staying with my brother at the moment. My dad and brother support me fully, but many in the extended family don't. I've even had some of our mutual friends call me and ask me what happened because my sister is so upset and they're worried about her well-being. My sister is now playing by the narrative that my fiancé is keeping me away from my family. I am not a fan of washing dirty linen in public, but I did it and wrote a long post on Facebook about everything that has happened so far. My mom was inconsolable after things were out in the public. I felt bad for her, but she had crossed a line too along with my sister. She needed to prove she would change and not try to get us back together again. She would not have access to my daughter if they tried to pull off anything stupid again, because honestly, I've had a lot, and I was pregnant, so I was hormonal anyway. My brother and dad didn't cause as much damage to my life earlier, yet they keep asking me to forgive them. My fiancé and his mom are on my side. Whatever I decide, they are with me, although she feels keeping her granddaughter from my mom wouldn't be the right choice to make. My mom feels I am a bad person now, and she knew best. She will be getting grandparents' rights or even custody of my baby. That's never happening. My dad moved out and my brother and his wife went North Carolina, with my mom too. Nowadays, my fiancé is my brother's closest friend. My mom definitely hurt me a lot with her little intervention. I don't know what she was thinking when she set up that tea party. I do miss her because she is a great mom otherwise. Until my sister went off the edge and my mom supported her crazy cause too. My sister's insistence for me to get back with my ex-boyfriend came from the fixation of wanting the both of us sisters to marry brothers and be best friends for life. My mom is cordial with my husband. My ex has been with people since the breakup. He also has 2 kids with an ex now, but he is not married. My sister once told my mom that is a very romantic thing to do since he has only ever wanted to marry me. His obsessive behavior didn't end just with me. I learned from local gossip that he was the same crazy person with the mother of his 2 kids, but his main focus is always me, and my sister would add fuel to the fire by encouraging him. She also dreams of being a good aunt to my daughter, but I doubt if I will ever let her near such a horrible and malicious person. I want to thank those who sent me all the amazing responses and encouraging words. My brother has explained to his kids that their grandma is ill and she tried to hurt me emotionally. She won't be a part of our lives anymore, but that doesn't mean she doesn't love her grandkids. The grandkids are growing up to be quite smart too, and prefer not to be approached by their grandmother or crazy Aunt Kenny either. My dad will stay with us indefinitely as my brother's NIL is currently visiting them. He is too sad and has met with divorce lawyers too. Moved bank stuff, etc. He doesn't respond to my mom anymore. I got a huge spike in my blood pressure after my last update here. I am okay now, but the gynecologist has advised that too much excitement getting hyper is not good for me, as it would also hurt the baby. My mom landed at my house with my sister, and I wasn't letting myself into another dramatic encounter with them, so I waited outside and called all possible relatives I could think of, including my dad and brother and his wife, of course. Once they all arrived, my sister-in-law went inside and asked them to leave. My house help had let my mom, who was allowed before this, in along with my sister, as she didn't know she was not supposed to because she never came to my house before this. When they were leaving, they tried to create a scene, and I couldn't stop myself from getting involved, which caused me to get all sweaty and out of breath. I made it clear to my mom that I was never going to let her see her granddaughter because she was always on my sister's side and would never stop with her antics. She does have grandparent rights, but it would not be too long before they were officially ripped. I hope that put some sense into her head. My dad, husband, and brother went to their house immediately after and picked up all the stuff that belonged to them so they would not have to interact ever again after that. This was the final straw, I guess. I may have stretched it too far, but they were not stopping at giving me valid reasons to do so either. I am trying to be healthy and well-rested and awaiting the arrival of my sweet girl. I feel sad for my nephews that one of their aunts is crazy and the grandmother is no less either. I feel sad that for the most random reason my mom and sister kept doing things which forced me to push them away from me and live at a safe distance always. I feel sad that my mom and dad are not together too because one silly breakup with a teenage year boyfriend resurfaced so many issues in their own marriage. I feel sad that I lost my sister because she couldn't get enough of her fantasies revolving around how we were supposed to live together forever and married to brothers and shit like that. We ain't even talking to each other anymore.